These are 5 defenses to stream in Week 14. Kicking it off is the New Orleans Saints. The Saints face off against the Giants team who have given up 10.4 fantasy points per game to opposing defenses, the 3rd most. They've also given up 40 sacks, which is tied for the 6th most, and they have a ton of questions at quarterback. It's unknown whether Drew Lock or Tommy DeVito will get the starting nod in Week 14, but it really shouldn't matter much. Drew Lock threw a pick 6, took 6 sacks, and lost a fumble in his lone start. And Tommy DeVito took 4 sacks and threw no touchdowns in his. And if things weren't bad enough for the G-Men, they also lost Dexter Lawrence and emerging rookie tight end Theo Johnson for the year today. And while the Saints haven't been a great defense by any measure this year, they have played better as of late. And even though they're 4-8, they're still not eliminated from playoff contention, giving them something to play for this week. Number 2 on the list is the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers face off against the Raiders, whose 23 giveaways are tied for the most in the league. They're also right behind the Giants in terms of fantasy points given up to opposing defenses per game with 10.25. They've also given up 41 sacks, which is tied for the 5th most, and they're going up against the Bucs team who have the 11th most sacks on the year with 33. The Bucs are right on the playoff bubble, so every game is essentially a must-win from here on out. While their defense has lacked an identity most of the year, this is a good spot for them to build some confidence. Number 3 on the list is the Miami Dolphins. The Dolphins go up against the Jets and Aaron Rodgers, who has faced heavy pressure all year, and this week should be no different. Prior to last week's game in the snow, which undoubtedly affected them, Miami's defense was really starting to gel. Over their last 3 games, they've accumulated 11 sacks along with 5 takeaways, good enough to be the 6th highest scoring fantasy defense during that stretch. With them back in Miami and fighting for their playoff lives, I expect them to get back on track and turn in a much better performance this week. Number 4 on the list is the Tennessee Titans. To Mac Jones' credit, he filled in pretty admirably against Houston last week. However, I think that was an outlier. In his other 2 starts, he threw 3 interceptions, took 4 sacks, and lost 1 fumble. And while things have been mostly bad for Tennessee this year, they have quietly allowed the fewest passing yards per game with 186. While they have and will likely give up some points again this week, they have been able to generate more sacks and takeaways in their last 3 games. Number 5 on the list is the Los Angeles Chargers. Patrick Mahomes has been sacked 10 times in his last 2 games, and this offensive line has underperformed all year, and last week was somewhat of a breaking point, as Andy Reid benched starting left tackle Wanya Morris in the 4th quarter. While I do expect them to rectify some things this week, they still have to go up against a Chargers team that's allowing the fewest points per game, along with the 8th fewest passing yards per game, and have racked up the 6th most sacks. And while Mahomes has played cleaner in recent weeks, he still has 11 interceptions on the year, and will have his hands full against one of the better secondaries in the league. Those are 5 defenses to stream in Week 14. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe, and let me know which defenses you think we should stream in the comments below.